Welcome to WatchMojoUK, and today we're counting down our picks for the British songs that caused a huge uproar either in the UK or across the globe.
I'm spasticus, artisticus, I'm spasticus, I'm spasticus.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
Number 10, Ebenezer Good, The Shaman.
There's a guy in the place who's got a bit of sweet face and he goes by the name of Ebenezer Good.
To the innocent mind, this fun track by British electronic group The Shaman will likely come across as inoffensive. However, it's quite apparent that its lyrics are actually linked to substance use and the like. This left a lot of the more conservative members of the British public and media irate after the song's commercial success, which led it to hit the #1 spot on the charts. As such, at the peak of its popularity, the song was promptly banned by the BBC. While this seems absurd by today's standards, as this list will later inform you, that was quite the norm back in the day.
Shout lad!
Number 9, Smack My Bitch Up, The Prodigy. With a name like that, what do you expect? Prodigy blew up when they hit the mainstream back in the 90s. But when they weren't causing panic for media outlets with Firestarter, which they believed could influence arsonists, they were shaking them to their core with this electronic banger. The BBC labelled the track as sexist and potentially inciting violence against women. The song was never allowed to appear on Radio 1 or even Top of the Pops, despite its chart-topping success. Number 8, Dear God, XTC.
Dear God, hope you got the letter and I pray you can make it better down here.
Have you ever heard the old saying, never talk about money, politics, or religion? XTC's Andy Partridge learned why in the aftermath of this 1986 tune. The otherwise melodic and successful arrangement of Dear God belies some pretty scathing and venomous critiques about divine injustice.
Dear God, don't know if you know this, but your name is all the quotes in this book.
The song's lyrics demand answers from a God who seems to not listen, a creator content with war, famine, disease, and death upon his world. Not everyone wanted to hear Partridge's opinions on this matter, however, particularly in the United States. One radio station in Panama City, Florida, even received a bomb threat after playing Dear God on the air.
Dear God.
Number 7, Your Mother's Got Goldie Looking Jane.
That's right, you knows what I'm saying. Your mother's offered me the goods, I'm not paying, it's that.
In the mid-2000s, the heyday of Welsh hip-hop group Goldie Looking Jane, they loved satire as much as possible. But still, sometimes they crossed a line that wouldn't work today. In fact, this song was often called Your Mother on the radio, rather than its full name to avoid mentioning certain organs.
Your mother's got a penis. Your mother's got a penis. Your mother's got a penis.
There are many ways to interpret the lyrics of this song, with some suggesting it's transphobic. Either way, the crude manner in which our rapping narrator describes the target of their ire is seldom heard on radios in this day and age.
Your mother got a penis. Your mother's got a penis. Your mother's got a penis.
Just have a listen for yourself, and you'll guess why it wasn't allowed on certain stations. Number 6, Relax, Frankie Goes to Hollywood.
Relax, don't do it when you wanna go to it. Relax, don't do it when you wanna come.
It's a rare occurrence when the corporation that banned a song is responsible for its popularity. Before Frankie Goes to Hollywood performed Relax on Top of the Pops, it was nowhere near the mega hit it would become. This was before the execs at the BBC suddenly realised that the song was overtly erotic and decided to ban it from all their stations and TV shows. Though some actually got the memo way too late, DJ Mike Reed once had to cut the track live on the air after being alerted by the higher-ups that it was on the ban list.
When you wanna come.
Number 5. Killing an Arab, The Cure.
Standing on the beach with a gun in my hand, staring at the sea, staring at the sand.
They may be lauded as musical visionaries today, but this doesn't mean that The Cure was always able to escape criticism. The gothic rock legends actually released Killing an Arab as their debut single, featuring lyrics that were based upon a work of fiction, The Stranger by Albert Camus.
I can turn and walk away or I can fire the gun, staring at the sky, staring at the sun.
Yet, the decision of songwriter Robert Smith to choose this title over something perhaps more innocuous resulted in accusations that Killing an Arab was racist and promoted violence. This legacy never truly went away either, with this proverbial albatross existing as something of a curse within a Cure discography that's otherwise chock full of classics.
Feel a super jump, smooth in my hand, staring at the sea, staring at the sand.
Number 4. A Day in the Life, The Beatles.
I read the news today, oh boy, about a lucky man who made the grade.
Yeah, that's right. Even the most prolific band in British history saw themselves on the receiving end of some massive controversy. 6 words. That's all it took for this song to be banned from play on BBC Radio 1 when it was first released.
I saw the photograph. He blew his mind out in a car.
The line in question was, "I'd love to turn you on." And no, it wasn't deemed inappropriate for being sexual. Instead, the line was in reference to drugs, which Paul McCartney would later confirm. Though it apparently hurt the Beeb execs at the time, they felt they had no other choice but to keep it off their stations, as glorifying drug use was largely frowned upon. Number 3. Better by You, Better Than Me, Judas Priest.
You can find a way to ease my passion.
On one hand, parents out of their mind find a way to sympathize with the family of James Vance, who died some years after a self-inflicted gunshot wound. However, they were ultimately pointing fingers in the wrong direction when they accused Judas Priest of including subliminal messaging within their cover of Spooky Tooth's Better By You, Better Than Me.
You hear the teaching of the wind. Tell her what I'm like within.
The Vances claimed that the song inspired James to attempt to take his own life, while the band countered that they would never intentionally want any of their fans to head down this road. The case was ultimately dismissed, and Judas Priest was exonerated, but the trial made headlines nationwide back in 1990. Number 2. Suicide Solution, Ozzy Osbourne. The world of heavy metal possesses a long history of being used as a scapegoat for everything from generational devil worship to unthinkable personal tragedy. The parents of John Daniel McCollum claimed that this track from Ozzy Osbourne's Blizzard of Oz was what pushed their son over the breaking point. McCollum took his own life in 1984, and his parents took Osbourne to court over lyrical content. The plaintiffs claimed that a sequence in the song featured Ozzy telling the listener to get the gun and shoot. This is despite the fact that the word solution in the song is referring to alcohol, and not the means to McCollum's tragic end. Osbourne was eventually found not to be at fault in the case. Number 1. God Save the Queen, Sex Pistols.
God save the Queen! The fascist regime!
Malcolm McLaren and the Sex Pistols certainly seemed to know what they were doing when they released this two-fingered salute to their home nation back in 1977. God Save the Queen was a knowing riff on the UK's national anthem, while at the same time serving as a defining anthem of the 70s punk era. The tune was banned from radio, and many retail shops wouldn't carry physical copies of the single, despite brisk sales from outlets that did decide to stock the record. In essence, God Save the Queen did what all good punk rock should do. It made people PO'd. It also made the Sex Pistols famous. Which of these controversies do you think are overblown? Let us know in those comments below.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojoUK and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.